Hey, this is Joshua with Sunday Vlog Day. Gonna come at you with a little different set of vlogs for the next few weeks. So for the last 20 years, there's been this series called The Wheel of Time, written by Robert Jordan and considered a spiritual successor to The Lord of the Rings. And even before it was finished, the rights to option it off as a movie or as a TV series were bought about 20 years ago. And there's been scuttlebutt every so often about a series or a movie series coming out. And now uh, the most likely means that it'll come out as a series in the next couple of years. It's a partnership between Sony and last I heard Amazon TV. Um, so hopefully something comes of it. It's looking pretty good. Um, that The Wheel of Time will finally be a TV series. Um, so for the past 20 years or so, there have been forums and videos of who people want to play certain characters. Um, and I'm going to do that over the next few weeks. And I'm going to, instead of starting with like the main people we start out with at the beginning of the series, I'm going to go a little different out. I'm going to do those guys next week. But this week I'm going to talk about the Forsaken, the 13, yeah, 13, double check, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 most powerful from the Age of Legends. The first two that we really meet and get to know a little bit, Agenor and Balthamil, who both die fairly quickly. Um, and when I talk about a Forsaken, if they died and had a rebirth, I'll also include the rebirth. So for Agenor, I would choose John Malkovich. Granted, it's a short role, but I think John Malkovich could have a lot of fun with that role. And for Balthamel, simply because Hugo Weaving can do a lot of really strange characters and pull them off very well, I think using a different voice, and that'll come in important in a little bit, I think he would do a very good job as Balthamel. Again, short role, but he wouldn't be on the sidelines for long because both Agenor and Balthamel were reborn pretty quickly. So for Arengar, Balthamel's rebirth, uh, Balthamel was originally a man, but when he was born, he was put into the body of a woman from the Borderlands. And Borderlanders tend to have like Middle Eastern to East Asian kind of cultural influences. Um, I'll kind of deviate that from that later. And so uh, um, for Arangar, I would choose Inbar Labi. Inbar Labi is an Israeli actress. The first time I ever saw her in anything was The Last Ship, where she played a fairly masculine, kick-ass lady soldier, female soldier, actually. Apologies for anyone who got angry at that. But her more current role, where on USA, where she plays a con artist who uses her seductiveness, that's a very good combination because that's what Arangar kind of presents as. And then for Osengar, who is the rebirth of Agenor, I would choose Hugo Weaving. Now, this is one of the two deviations I will have for Borderlander characters, because technically Osengar is a body of a Borderlander man, so he should be like a Middle Eastern or East Asian actor. But yeah, this is one, and Hugo Weaving, like I said, he's done a lot of interesting characters, and I think this would be a very interesting one for him to sink his teeth into. Um, Another important character, especially for the development of the Wheel of Time's main character's magic abilities, is a character named Asmodean. Asmodean is a musician as well as a magic user, and I think a good choice for him would be Oscar Isaac. Um, Oscar Isaac, right now, he's known for playing Poe Dameron on the Star Wars reboot sequel trilogy. And I think Asmodean would be a very interesting role for him. A good kind of callback to some early work he did as King John in the Russell Crowe Robin Hood movie, where he played the villain. This would be a more sympathetic villain, so I think he could do a very good job playing that character. Then a one-off-ish kind of character is Bilal. Bilal basically appears for a little bit, and he's another one of the slight deviations. Where he is more Spanish inspired. I could go with Antonio Banderas, but he's too much of a fun actor. Although this other guy is a very fun actor, Sean Bean. Sean Bean basically has in his contracts that the story goes that he dies in whatever he works on. Bilal dies pretty quickly, but what's good about this character is he's a pretty decent swordsman, and Sean Bean has played a good number of fairly decent swordsmen in his career. Now, another super important character is a character named Lanfear, who dies and then becomes Sindain. For the original run, I would choose Katie McGrath to play Lanfear. Katie McGrath is a very attractive young woman. However, what is important is she's also brilliant. She is a researcher, and Katie McGrath is currently playing Lena Luthor on Supergirl, and Lena Luthor is brilliant. So I think that'd be a good mix. And then this actor would have to kind of work with Katie McGrath for a little bit to kind of get the character. But I think Kate Upton would be a decent choice for Sindain. She'd would have to improve her acting chops. I haven't really seen her in much outside of a commercial where her sexual appeal is used to sell the game. But she's been in stuff before. I haven't heard anything bad about her yet, but I think she'd be an interesting choice. Another interesting character that I'm deviating from because for this character a lot of suggestions have been African American actresses or African actresses depending on where they're from. I personally would like to see Indira Varma play Semirage, who is a healer and a torturer. Indira Varma, I think, could play off the sadism fairly well, especially after her run as Ilaria Sand in Game of Thrones. I will probably have a good number of Game of Thrones actors in my wish list, but I think she would do a great job as Semirage. And of course, along with Oscar Isaac and this other another actor, add a lot of needed diversity. So probably one of the most important Forsaken is this individual named Ishamael. He is kind of like the opposite of Randall al'Thor, the main character. And for the original run, I would choose Idris Elba as Ishamael before he dies. Idris Elba, he's granted one of his. We in the West know him in America. Why the West? In America, know him mostly for like his good guy characters, but his Beast of No Nations character commander and Luther. Those are very, very dark characters, and I think he could use the insanity of Commander and the ruthlessness of Luther, as well as the all-knowingness of Heimdall, to kind of create a very interesting character. And then for his rebirth, I would go with Wentworth Miller, who has this very similar-ish background, and I think he could play Insane very well. Now, there are two other military characters among the Forsaken. They are Demon Dread and Samael. For Demon Dread, I'd choose Ben Barnes. Ben Barnes is a younger-looking actor, but Aes Sedai, which is what the Forsaken are able to slow the aging process with their use of, because they simply can use magic. And Demon Dread like most Aes Sedai found out he could channel as a child. Samael, I would choose Kevin McKidd, and he's interesting because he didn't figure out he could use magic until he was an adult, and so having Kevin McKidd play him would, I think, be a good choice. Um, Now another kind of short-lived character is a character named Robin. He is a very attractive-looking man, and I think Jude Law, objectively, is a very good-looking man. And I think, he's played a lot of villainous characters in the past. One of my favorite is his character in Road to Perdition, and I think he could utilize some of that as well as other more manipulative characters, even if they were the hero and protagonists in these films. I think he could do a very good job playing Robin. Now these next two are actually going to be kind of interesting choices. There's this one character named Grendel. She is reputed to be very beautiful and wears very revealing clothing. And for her, I would choose Hayden Panettiere. A lot of people who've been suggesting recently have been going for Kate Upton. I would go with Hayden Panettiere simply because she's a much more versatile actress. And I think she could really sink her teeth into this role and make it her own. As well as Grendel's Rebirth. Grendel's Rebirth is only around for one book, so that basically like a season. And that character's name is Hessalam. It's a very unattractive character, but I think with the proper makeup, I think Hayden Panettiere could play a very, very physically unappealing character, but still have the same wit and cunning behind it. And then one that I've seen fairly recently for Moghedien, who's a very manipulative character, I would choose Miranda Cosgrove from her role as Megan on Drake and Josh, as well as her role in School of Rock. I think she could very much play that kind of character very well. Even though she's more recently been playing fairly sweet characters, I think she could do very well as Moghedien. And then the last character, who is the only one of the Forsaken who's not from what is called the Age of Legends, is Mazrim Taim, whose name as Forsaken is Mihail. And for Mihail, again, he's a deviation from where the origin should be. He is originally from the Borderlands, much like the bodies of Arengar and Osengar. I would choose David Tennant, simply because David Tennant is a very versatile actor and is good at playing these good guy characters as well as these secretly bad guy characters. Granted, the most known one I can think of, his turn as Barty Crouch Jr. in Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. We found out through flashbacks that he was secretly a bad guy. I think he could do a very good job in this role. Again, I probably would prefer a more Middle Eastern actor, because Chaldeans are kind of described as like Semitic or Armenian. But otherwise, yeah, those are my picks for the Forsaken. Next week, I will talk about the original main characters, as well as their love interests, who are all introduced in the first book. So yeah, most are introduced in the first book. This is Joshua with Sunday Vlog Day. I'll see you tomorrow on Cultural Catholic.